Hey, I just wanted to finish the story from when that cut off, so, yeah, I had to go back to the hospital, by ambulance, actually, because I developed pericarditis, and, the pain was just absolutely brutal, and probably due to being discharged at home, and then just stress from my mom, and I don't remember what that fight was about. Trying to remember now, and I just can't remember. But yeah, I'd collapsed, and that kind of exacerbated things, and so I went back to the emergency room, and I had like really severe pericarditis, and like textbook friction rub sound people could hear in auscultation, and like all of these medical students and nurses, and like, because it was a university teaching hospital, like all these people came in, can we listen to your friction rub, like we want to hear what it sounds like, blah blah blah. And I guess like it was like the worst case they'd seen in that hospital, and it was bad. So I was readmitted and put on steroids, and of course by then my patch was working, so it wasn't like a psycho scary thing, like excuse me. Yeah, that surgery, like the PTSD from waking up in like unfathomable excruciating pain with that chest tube in, and like not only not having adequate pain coverage, but being withdrawal and being hypersensitized to pain. On top of it, like seriously, I was so traumatized, and I had a lot of therapy after that, but yeah, they just couldn't deal with me, so they sent me home early, and then that's when there was a fight, and I collapsed, had to go back, I was readmitted, and I remember seeing my surgeon for my follow-up after the thoracoscopy, and I told him what happened, like, yeah, I got pericarditis, and it was, like, really bad, and I remember him, like, being very nervous and abrupt and agitated, and, like, that didn't happen, like, your pericardium was pristine and clear on thoracoscopy, like, you don't have pericarditis, and, like, refused to acknowledge that it happened. I'm like, dude, this is a fucking teaching hospital. Like, how many witnesses do we have? Like, people that came in to listen to my chest, like, don't even go there. I was so angry and, like, so just anyway, so I guess, like, by the way, he was like 2 hours late coming in there, and finally we were like, dude, we're gonna go, and then, oh no, he'll see you. So he came in, and like all abrupt and whatever, didn't want to acknowledge the pericarditis at all, and like turns out it probably has to do with too much inflammation, too much trauma to the chest, and like being sent home early, like, because you guys didn't want to fucking deal with my pain management issues, and me, like, I don't blame them with the psychosis, because that was really bad, and I was like, even though I know it's not my fault, I have a lot of shame about that issue. I even, like, sent a letter of apology and flowers to my doctor, like, it was brutal. I have a lot of bad feelings about what happened after that. But, yeah, he just didn't want to deal with what happened, and, like, oh, you know what, now that I'm thinking, I guess I had already been diagnosed with the pericarditis, gotten back out of the hospital. God, chronology gets so garbled. Okay, anyway, so, yeah, I had gotten back out, and it was, like, right after that the fight started, and that's when I collapsed, and yeah, okay, so that's what was going on, like, I guess it just, like, exacerbated the pericarditis. Like, me getting so upset, and I just, like, I was crying, and I was, like, holding onto my grandma's hand, and I just, like, slid to the floor, and, like, couldn't get up. It was horrible. Yeah, when we went to see the surgeon, it was to get sutures out, too. It was, like, the post-op. Pardon me, I'm not tired all the time, but, like, if my meds get low, then that happens. I've actually just re-medicated and just put a fresh patch on. It takes time, and I'm in the middle of stepping down, so it's a little harder. But anyway, yeah, he was in such a fucking hurry. Like, he just reached, like, I had a button-down shirt on, just for comfort, you know, like, and so I unbuttoned it, and I remember him, like, not even looking at the wound and just start taking the sutures off. And just wanting to get the hell out of there was his general energy. Like, the pericarditis did happen. Oh, sorry. No lag time on that pouch kicking in. I'm starting to get little withdrawal yawns and, like, watery eyes and crap. So that night, I was getting ready to take a shower, and I think I raised my arm to, like, brush my hair or something, and the wound opened. I heal slow, so that really sucked, because once a wound opens, they can't resuture it. So basically, I had to do wet to dry dressing to, like, to breathe the wound for, like, months until it healed. Like, it was not pretty. Thankfully, the chest wall had closed enough that I didn't die. I mean, obviously, the thoracic cavity was sealed still, so thank God for that. But yeah, the hole went, like, all the way through, like, tissue layers right to the bone, and, like, right to where the chest tube went through the ribs. But yeah, I guess the intercostal space closed and the pleura closed, so, like, I didn't suffocate, which is good. But yeah, so we went to the ER, and they were like, yeah, we can't resuture that. So wet to dry dressings, you put a wet dressing in, you let it dry, and then you yank it out. And the idea is, like, the dead tissue that's trying to heal, or, like, the dead tissue that happens as a consequence of the healing process gets yanked out so it won't get infected. It hurts like a bitch, and you have to do that. I can't remember if it was, I think towards the end it was only once a day, but oh my god. And that was, like, weeks and weeks and weeks till it healed. It was at least a month and a half. Maybe longer, because obviously, like, intercostal, like, you're always breathing, your chest cavity is always expanding and contracting, so, like, healing is slower somewhere that moves all the time, so that was an absolute nightmare. But yeah, so this is the kind of woman who can, like, pick a fight with her daughter after heart surgery, like, while still in the hospital, is when she pulled that shit on my heart. And then after me having to go back by ambulance with pericarditis and getting out, starting the other fight that caused me to collapse, and then just standing over me laughing, like, whatever, you're so dramatic. Pretty brutal shit. And then, like, after getting home, the whole, why don't you just hurry up and die already, I wish you'd die soon kind of shit. It's just bad. In fact, while I'm on the pericarditis subject, I'm usually given, like, Medrol for that in the hospital, but, like, or prednisone tapers outside. This one time, this is after I moved home from school, this was, like, our last physical incident where, like, was so pumped up on like the loading dose of Medrol that I was like easily agitated. And, anti-inflammatories like that, like the strong steroid anti-inflammatories. They're not like anabolic steroids, it's different. They like suppress your immune system, reduce inflammation, it helps you heal and not be in so much pain, whatever. For pericarditis, I needed that. Pericarditis, I don't think I even explained what it is. The pericardium, the sac around the heart, gets like either irritated or some infiltrate gets in there. And what it is, it's like it's a sac that goes around the heart and there's like lubricant in there. So when your heart moves, you don't really feel each contraction, like, because it's got that lubrication on there, you don't feel it. But if that gets irritated in there, you lose the lubrication, and so generates a friction rub. And it sounds like a thumb on a balloon, you know? Like if you were rubbing a balloon, it sounds like it's weird. Like if they were to listen with the stethoscope, that's what they'd hear. And it's extremely painful. Every breath is like, obviously, well, not even every breath, every heartbeat. Your heart's constantly in motion. So yeah, it's pretty brutally painful and feels like you're gonna die. It's pretty bad. Anyway, so yeah, I was just home from the ER and I was on Medrol the first day. Is like a really high loading dose. And I don't know what started. Oh, Mom was just being really nasty and shit. And I got so charged with like this red rage. Oh my God, I've never experienced that before, but I was just so furious. And like, I went into the kitchen and I was like, why are you being like that? You know, why are you being abusive, whatever? And she's like mouthing off, and I finally was like, I don't remember what exactly happened, but we got into a physical altercation, and all I remember is her grabbing me and saying, "You little bitch, I'm gonna put you in the hospital," and like, something happened, and I just tooth and nail fought back hard. And I didn't come to my senses until she ran into the backyard to get away from me. So yeah, that was really brutal, but since then there's been no overt physical confrontation, so it's good in a way that I was able to stand up and prove that I'm not as weak as I look, I guess. It was good and bad. That's another incident that really scared the shit out of me. As far as like what evil lurks in me and the capacity for this shit to repeat itself in my generation. Like, yeah, since that day I've been doing a lot of soul work on that. Yeah, so since then, thankfully, it's been verbal and only like physical confrontation, but not assault. I don't know how to explain it any other way. With like the pushing over me incidences and stuff. It's really weird. But anyway, I'm gonna stop this and then I'll attach the last part. But I just wanted to finish that story from outside.